We are the digital learning team with ILE. My name is Tina Lanu. I can answer any questions you have about Edpuzzle, but I'm so excited because we have Helen and Rebecca here from Edpuzzle that are going to be able to share all the things about Edpuzzle. As much as I love it, they are the experts on it and probably can share a little bit more. So I'm so excited that they're here. I'm excited to be able to learn right along with you guys. So Rebecca and Helen, I'm going to stop sharing and pass it over to you.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here today on a Tuesday afternoon, right? So we're getting there, almost in the middle of the week. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you can start accessing the links the link to the slide deck. But I'm going to have us go ahead and get started. So again, my name is Rebecca. I'm a school success manager with Edpuzzle. My colleague Helen is on the line. She's the awesome person who will be getting back to you in the chat. And we are going to be talking to you about all things getting started with Edpuzzle today. We're both former teachers. So both taught elementary, right, Helen? You also taught elementary? Cool.
Yeah, second and third grade.
Well, and I was fourth, so we kind of run the gamut there. And I really enjoyed teaching elementary. I taught fourth grade for about 5 years, and the thing I really enjoyed doing was helping my colleagues with leveraging technology effectively in the classroom too. So that's why I'm here with Edpuzzle, and we're just excited to get to talk to you all today and help you make sense of the technology in your classroom too. Again, the link to this slide deck is in the chat, and we'll just continue to put that in there if anyone needs it. But our goal today is really just to make sure you know how to do everything related to Edpuzzle with just the basics of setting up your account. So we'll make sure you leave here today with your Edpuzzle account set up. Make sure you know how it syncs with Google Classroom, and that you know the ins and outs of creating your very first video lesson or another video lesson if you've already created one before. We'll also talk about the data component, since Edpuzzle has a lot of in-depth data that you can take a look at, and just discuss how you can use it to enhance an existing lesson that you're teaching. All right. I'm working on my teacher wait time. Want to make sure that I give you enough time to respond. If I ever ask you a question and you need more time to respond in the chat, just keep typing and just make sure you send it, and we'll make sure to get to it. Even if we move on, we're still going to pay attention to what you put in the chat. And then I have one more question for you as we're getting started. If you can just put the number that corresponds with your experience level with Edpuzzle, it'll help me get a sense of where we're at. On a scale of 1 to 4, with 4 being you are an Edpuzzle expert, you use it all the time, to 1 being I don't even really know what Edpuzzle is, and that's okay too, because this is a getting started training. Okay, great. So I'm seeing lots of 1s, a couple 2s, maybe 1 or 2 3s. Okay, awesome. So it's great. You're all in the right place. We're going to get you all set up. So hopefully you're feeling much more confident by the end of the session and have your first video lesson made. Cool. And if you are at a 3 and you're like, yeah, I've tinkered with it a little bit, there'll be still something for you to learn from this that maybe you didn't know before. And I'll do my best to also mention ways that you can level up your existing lessons and what you already know how to do with Edpuzzle. And I'm actually not going to play the video this time around, because as much as we love video learning, I know we're also short on time, and I'll just go through the platform so you get a sense of what it looks like and how to navigate through it. So we'll just start off by talking about what Edpuzzle does. We know that video learning is a really powerful tool to help your students achieve greater understanding of oftentimes complex topics. I personally loved using video in my classroom to help my students with understanding social and societal issues, for instance, like 9/11. That was a really challenging topic for me to teach just from the textbook, and having a video lesson really helps students engage more with it. Or even just teaching a complicated math lesson, having another person explain that concept was beneficial for my students. So they're not just hearing me talk all day about it, they tend to tune out. So with Edpuzzle, you get to take that video learning to the next level, because you can take any video. It can be from YouTube, it can be an upload from your own computer, a screen recording, or one of our Edpuzzle original videos. And instead of just showing it to the class as it is, you can embed questions to appropriately assess your students, and then even differentiate videos according to your students' needs. The real magic happens, though, when you look at the data reports that Edpuzzle provides you, because then you can really see in depth where your students are struggling, which students you might want to provide more remediation for, and which students you might want to provide extension activities for. So it really just takes video learning to the next level. It's very easy to use, and we'll go through the platform more today. It does help increase your students' autonomy, but also hold them accountable. And there's that engagement piece built in as well, with the fact that they do get to see an engaging video lesson to help strengthen their understanding of a topic. Edpuzzle is also really useful because it connects with your Google Classroom, so you can easily post assignments there and your grades will sync. And we'll talk through how you can make sure that happens today. So before we get started with work time and exploration and all those good things, I do want to make sure that everyone here gets their Edpuzzle account set up so that you can explore the site during our work time in a few minutes. So what you're going to do is go to the link that's here on the screen. This is your school's, your district's network link. And Helen just posted the link in the chat. Thank you, Helen. When you create an account with this link, you're automatically connected to your district. So you don't have to worry about like finding your school. You'll be in the right spot. Make sure you sign up when you click on that link with your school email domain. It could be any of these that you see listed here, because that's going to get you more immediate approval, because we recognize that domain and it'll upgrade you to your pro subscription that your district has. The other important step as you're doing that I want you to be aware of is that at the end of creating your account, you're going to need to check your email that you used to sign up and verify your account. You'll open up your email, click on the email that we send you to verify, and that's going to ensure that you get pro access, meaning you can store more than 20 videos, which is the limit for if you don't have pro access. So I'll give us a few more seconds to work on creating the account. In the chat, if you can just give like a thumbs up when you have, or maybe you can just do that expression. Yeah, if you just want to react with a thumbs up too, that'll help me get a sense of how many folks have been able to sign up and create their accounts. Awesome, Christina, thank you. Thanks, Trina. All right, so I'm going to have us go ahead and move on. If you're still in the middle of creating your account, that's okay. We can also take part of the work time to make sure those steps are finalized. And we can also, of course, answer any questions that have come up if you're struggling with making your account during that work time. But before we jump into how to make your very first video lesson, wanted to give you a little bit of the reason why we advocate that you use Edpuzzle over just showing YouTube videos to your students as they are in YouTube, because a lot of teachers wonder, like, why can't I just project it using YouTube? I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person in this room who's ever had an inappropriate ad pop up when I'm trying to show a YouTube video to my students. It happened a lot to me during pandemic teaching, to the point where I actually purchased YouTube Premium because I just couldn't stand all the ads that were popping up beforehand. So with Edpuzzle, what we've done is we've partnered with YouTube so that any educational video that you assign through Edpuzzle will stream from the YouTube player for education. So that means that students won't receive targeted ads. They also won't be tracked. There are no cookies with YouTube Player for Education, and there won't be those watermarks that pop up for students that can lead them down other rabbit holes to check out other links to other videos. So it's really the safest way for your students to view a YouTube video is through Edpuzzle. Something else that's really cool about this YouTube Edpuzzle partnership is that we have an Edpuzzle Chrome extension that you can download, and that allows you to do two things, and I'll mention both of them more in depth as we go throughout, but it lets you easily screen record. It pops up here in your toolbar and it allows you to record your screen within Edpuzzle. And it also comes up with this little edit with Edpuzzle button when you go to YouTube. For any YouTube video you see, you can just click that button to easily edit the video straight in Edpuzzle. So that's where our YouTube partnership comes in. But now that we're all set up with our Edpuzzle accounts, we're going to talk about how to create your very first video lesson. So there are so many ways for you to do this, and I'm just going to go through the main ways, and if there are any additional questions about these, we're happy to give you more information on them. But the first way that you can create a video lesson is by installing that Chrome extension that I just talked about. And what it will do, and by the way, Helen has put the link to the Chrome extension in the chat. You can download that and you'll have access to the screen recorder. When you click on the Chrome extension, it allows you to record your tab, which lets you draw on your screen as you're illustrating a certain concept. It also allows you to record your desktop, and that feature comes with a whiteboard tab, so you can draw on a whiteboard and discuss things there. And you can also click on the camera only option to just record yourself if you just want to like release an announcement for your students that way and you don't need anything else recorded but you. When you finish your screen recording, it's automatically saved to Edpuzzle, and then you can further edit the video and assign it to your students just like you would any other Edpuzzle video. And again, that's the screen recording option, and it comes with the Edpuzzle Chrome extension. But we also understand your teachers, you're very busy. You might not always want to or have the time to create your own lessons. So there are many other ways that you can create a video lesson using existing videos. So you can find pre-made standards aligned video lessons in our Edpuzzle Originals library, and we'll dive into that a bit more later. And in addition to that, I'm going to go over to my Edpuzzle homepage. Once you log into Edpuzzle, you're automatically directed to this Discover page, which is where you can find a lot of videos from other educators who are also using Edpuzzle. So if you're on this Community tab, you can filter by subject, grade level, and of course use the search bar with those filters to find videos that other Edpuzzlers have been using and uploading to the site. Speaking of colleagues, though, if you click on the My Network tab, you can actually see what other folks in your district are creating on Edpuzzle. And this is a great place to go to if you're looking for curriculum-aligned video resources or resources that fit your district's specific goals and initiatives. And you can see that your district has actually set a curriculum specialist, so they might have a folder within their section that you can look at for specific videos that will help with the curriculum that you're teaching. Now, of course, you can navigate through Edpuzzle through the Community tab, the Network tab, but you can also find Edpuzzle videos or videos to use in Edpuzzle from YouTube. And there are 3 ways that you can bring an existing YouTube video into Edpuzzle. So I'm going to talk about the first one. I'm pulling up my own YouTube video here that I'm going to look at. So of course the ad's playing, it's not an Edpuzzle. This is a crash course video. I'm going to pause John Green for a second. So if I'm on YouTube and I see a video that I think would be a really great addition to a lesson that I have for my students on Edpuzzle, if I have the Edpuzzle Chrome extension installed, I just have to click this yellow Edit with Edpuzzle button to bring this video into Edpuzzle to edit. So I just click that button, and now I have editing options that I can do. That's the first way that you can bring an existing YouTube video into Edpuzzle. The second way, in case you don't have the Chrome extension or you just forget that you can use it, you can copy the video URL. So I'll copy that link and I can just paste it in the search bar at the top of my Edpuzzle homepage. And once I click search, it takes me to that same editing screen that we saw when I clicked Edit with Edpuzzle. There's one more way that you can bring a YouTube video into Edpuzzle, and that's by searching it. So I could search How and Why We Read. It's a crash course video. This is the same video I was looking at on YouTube, and I can search it and then go to the YouTube tab here to find the exact video from YouTube. Of course, I can also look in the Community and the Network tabs, and I might be able to see, oh, wow, I've already created a video on this, or other teachers have already embedded questions for that video, and that can cut down on your time creating that lesson. So again, those 3 ways to bring an a YouTube video into Edpuzzle are to go to YouTube, click Edit with Edpuzzle if you have the Chrome extension. You can also copy and paste the video link over here on your homepage in that search bar, or you can search the video through the YouTube tab. So lots of different ways to bring videos into Edpuzzle, and I'm going to give us some time to explore these options in a moment. But as I mentioned earlier, you don't have to go through YouTube to find videos for your students. And in fact, one of the best ways that you can find existing high quality standards aligned core content videos that already have questions embedded in them are by accessing our Edpuzzle Originals library. These videos have all been curated and created by our curriculum team, which is a team of mostly former teachers. And we have over 3,000 of these videos. So I'm going to show you where to find these, and then we'll spend a good amount of time looking through this library so you can leave here today with a video for your students that you know is standards aligned and are confident it's going to be high quality. So these Edpuzzle original videos can be found underneath the Discover page on the left-hand side of your Edpuzzle homepage. And once I click on Edpuzzle Originals, I can see all these different categories. I can see core content areas. I can also see certain specific areas like study skills or holidays and major events or financial literacy, which is becoming more and more prominent as a possible graduation requirement in California. I can click into any of these categories and continue to look through the categories themselves or use the drop-down menu to sort for specific topics that I want to teach to my students. But something else I want to mention about these Edpuzzle Originals is we've found other ways to help you easily find which Edpuzzle Original video best matches the standard you're teaching. So we've linked in our slide deck, and we'll also have a resource doc that we can send out to you afterwards. All these different standards aligned tables for each of the core content areas, as well as these like specialty areas like financial literacy and digital citizenship. So for instance, if I click into math, I'll be able to see an error table here that shows all these different standards. So let's say I know that I'm working with my students on some geometry, want to work on finding the area of triangles. This particular Edpuzzle video is going to address that learning standard. I can just click on it and assign it right away to my students. Thank you, Helen. Yes, that is on slide number 13 if you're looking for that slide in the slide deck. But again, we'll make sure that you have access to all this after the fact too. So you can always come back and reference this page. I know we had at least one school counselor in the chat, so I just wanted to emphasize we do have SEL lessons. There's like a table of SEL lessons that we've curated. These are not Edpuzzle original like video lessons, actually. We did not create these, but this is a really helpful spreadsheet to take a look at that aligns with standards that we worked with to make sure that they align to CASEL or CASEL standards to best meet students' needs in that area. So feel free to also explore those. Of course, being a former teacher, I know that you don't have to be a counselor to want to get SEL lessons. So teachers, feel free to also peruse that as well. Okay, I've done a lot of talking, and I want to make sure you get a chance to explore the platform some more. We're going to take about 2 to 3 minutes to find a video that you would like to assign to your students, and then we'll go through the steps of how to edit that video together in just a bit. So because for the sake of time and to make it easier for you all, we're going to just focus on the Edpuzzle Originals library so you can really focus on those high quality standards aligned videos. So I just want you to go into the Edpuzzle Originals library, which again is located on the left-hand side of your Edpuzzle homepage, and find a video lesson that you would like to assign to your students. Once you've found that lesson, if you could just give me a thumbs up, then we will continue on. So again, just going to find your Edpuzzle original video. Just click on it. If you'd like to, you can press copy. You don't have to be that fancy though. You can just have it open on your computer. Awesome, and I saw a few thumbs up already. If you already found the video that you are interested in assigning to your students, feel free to start playing the video to preview it as you're waiting for other folks to find their videos too. Awesome, thanks Isaiah. So I see a lot of us are finding hopefully a video that we're excited about. Thank you, Sophia. So we'll give it another minute. And while folks are finding their video, I'm going to navigate to an example video too. I believe, and I could be wrong about this, I don't know if Hispanic Heritage Month is over yet. I don't think it is. I think we have another week or so. Maybe. For some reason, the 15th is the date in my mind that it might end. Is it 15th?
You are correct.
Wow.
Yeah, it ends
Okay.
October 15th.
Great.
Wow, learn something new every day.
That's great. I know it starts like in the middle of the month, so it ends in the middle of the next month. So I'm just going to go to this video as my example, since I know a lot of times teachers want to find topical videos for their students, and a lot of students don't know why we celebrate certain holidays. Labor Day was a big one that other teachers had talked to me about. So, all right. So hopefully you've all found your video. If not, it's okay. We can continue to find that. I just want you to take a look though at my screen in just a moment, so you can see how I would go through and edit this video. So I'm just going to demo that process of editing a video in Edpuzzle. And please note that the options I'm going to be going through are the same for any video you bring into Edpuzzle, whether it's your own screen recording or a YouTube video or an Edpuzzle original video. So just follow along with me, and then I'll give you some time to experiment with editing the video that you've chosen. So again, I found this video on Hispanic Heritage Month, and we have a few options here in the top right corner of my screen. I can edit this video. By clicking edit, it automatically saves this video to the My Content section of Edpuzzle, so I can find it there easily, but it lets me edit immediately. I could assign the video as it is to my class. By clicking copy, that saves the video to the My Content section on the left-hand side of your Edpuzzle homepage. The only thing is that it doesn't let you edit it right away. So if you're looking to edit right away, you would click that button, and sharing preview just allows you to share that link with other teachers. So what I'm going to do is click edit to not only save it to my content, but be able to start editing right away. So I can see that there are a few options now that I've clicked edit. I can cut this video, and there might be a few reasons why you want to cut a video. Our Edpuzzle original videos are meant to be short and appropriate for student age levels or grade levels, but you might feel the need to cut out extraneous information regardless. If you're using any YouTube videos that might be longer, like longer than 10 minutes, the cut tool is especially useful because we want to keep videos no longer than 10 minutes generally, even for high school students. So I can make cuts from the beginning of the video. I can also make cuts from the end of the video. So I can say, yes, cut and delete video event. I'm going to undo that because I will want the whole video here. But something that a lot of teachers don't realize is you can also make cuts from the middle of the video. So I can just drag this black progress bar anywhere I like in the video, click add cut, drag it to another section where I might want to make a cut, and then I can delete this whole section until that little trash can pops up, and now I have the middle part of the video cut out. So you can make cuts from the beginning, middle, and the end of the video, and you can always click undo if you made a mistake. Don't panic, just click undo and it'll all be good. The other options you have, you can go make a voiceover, which is really nice if you want to include your own personal like voice or like language that you like to use with your students in the video. I've had trainings where some teachers say that they want to do a voiceover at the very beginning of the video just to introduce it and contextualize it based on something they've talked about in class, which is a great idea too. These voiceovers are available for our Edpuzzle original videos, for your own video uploads, and Edpuzzle hosted videos. They are not available for YouTube videos because those have copyright restrictions. So voiceovers would not be available for YouTube videos, but most other videos you can do a voiceover. And then we get to adding questions for an Edpuzzle video. This is really like the meat of the Edpuzzle assignment. We want to make sure we're assigning high quality questions to our students. And again, since I'm looking at an Edpuzzle original video, I can see there are already questions embedded. And I can see that because each of these little like water teardrop icons is a question. So if I click on one, I can see what the question's asking. But let's say you want to add your own questions to a video. You can do so by making sure the progress bar for the video is at the place where you'd like students to be assessed. So let's say I want to add a question at 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I can just click on the multiple choice or the open-ended question option to add in my questions. A new feature that we have that we're really excited about is that you can type in your questions and you can add yourself saying the question. So you can add an audio question within all of the answer choices for multiple choice, for the questions themselves for multiple choice, and for open-ended questions too. So it can increase that accessibility for all learners too. The other beauty in multiple choice questions is that they are auto-graded. So if I am asking a question, I know I have to select at least one right answer. I have to select a green check mark to say that that is the correct answer choice. The X would mean that it's incorrect. And when students complete the Edpuzzle assignment, they're scored automatically. They can see instantly how they performed on the multiple choice questions. And then you immediately get to see their score too when you take a look without having to do any grading yourself, if it's a multiple choice only assignment. So it's really helpful to know if you're looking to do like a quick exit ticket with Edpuzzle videos, you can assign like a fully multiple choice question Edpuzzle assignment and have it auto-graded for you. Okay. Open-ended questions are not auto-graded. You would have to go in and grade those on your own, but we do have a new feature called Teacher Assist that you can experiment with that does have an auto-grade feature. We likely won't have time to go into it today, but you might see it when you go into grade. So feel free to experiment with it, but generally open-ended questions you would go in and grade yourself, and you can allow audio responses for your students too. And the final piece that I'll mention here is you can add notes for your students. This is an often underutilized tool in Edpuzzle, but with notes, you can add reminders for your students. You can include links to other resources like a online journal that your students might be typing into, maybe in Google Docs, maybe an online dictionary that you want them to reference. You can even, as Helen and I, our manager, likes to do, she likes to record an audio note shouting, "Pay attention," into this note so that students will be kind of shocked into realizing, oh, I actually need to pay attention. I was tuning out. You can really make use of this note space in a lot of creative ways, but those are there as well. But again, this video already came with embedded questions, so I might be happy with it as it is. If I want to edit any of the questions, all I have to do is click on the little teardrop icon or click on the preview of the question in the sidebar, and I can click on this pencil icon to edit the questions in any way. I could also add the audio myself if I would like. Once I am done making all of my edits, I just click finish and it saves that video in its newly edited form to the My Content section of your Edpuzzle. So it's a lot of content. Let me go back to our slide deck. Please feel free to ask any questions as they're coming up, but I do want to give you a chance for you to explore how you might further edit that video that you chose earlier. Don't worry about assigning the video just yet, but just want to give you a chance to make a couple edits to the video, see if you can just experiment with making the cuts, and then let us know if any questions are surfacing for you all. So I'm going to start the timer. We're going to take about 2 minutes. And again, if you're typing in the chat and I move on, don't worry, we will get to your question. All right. I'm going to assume we're doing okay, but please let us know if you do have any questions. We'll definitely get to you. But as with any tool, I imagine it's just the more time that you spend with it, the more familiar you'll feel with it. And a lot of students just need that time to work with the tool. So we do want to make sure that now that we've selected a video, we've edited it, you know how to assign it to your students. And because your district uses Google Classroom, we're going to make sure that you're all set up with it to be able to directly assign to your classes. So I'm just going to walk through these steps, talk through them. Feel free to follow along and do them with me if you would like. If you get lost at any point, if we're going too quickly, just know that you can always do these steps on your own too afterwards and follow the steps if in case you're like, I need to just absorb the information and follow through at a different point. Whatever's going to work best for you. But I'm just going to go through the steps and demonstrate how you would set up your Google Classroom with your Edpuzzle account. And then we'll give you some time to assign a video lesson for practice in just a minute. So whenever you want to set up your Edpuzzle with your Google Classroom classes, you're going to, and actually I'm going to demonstrate this on my end because this is a little small, but from my Edpuzzle account, I'll just click back on the logo to get back to this home page. But on the left-hand side, you can see where your classes are. You'll click on that plus button next to my classes to add a new class. And because you'd want to connect to your Google Classroom here, you'll just click on Google Classroom where all these other LMSs are. And as long as your Google account is connected to your Edpuzzle account, you'll be able to see the classes that you would like to import. I already have my 4th grade class imported in here, but you would just select any of the classes that come up and click Import Classes. And if anyone's curious, like, oh, did I connect my Google account with my Edpuzzle? In your settings, you can just double check that there. All right. So again, you click that plus button to add the new class, select Google Classroom, and just enter in your course details and click Import Classes. Now, anytime you have a new student join your class, you're going to follow these last 3 steps. But make sure to get your students in those Google Classroom classes on Edpuzzle by clicking on the class itself, clicking on class members, which is this middle tab, and then clicking on import students. And I'll just show you that on my side of things as well. So here in my Miss B's 4th graders, this is my Google Classroom class. I'll click on class members here in the middle, right next to assignments. And I would click import students. Sadly, I don't have any students anymore, so I have no students to import. But if you have students, you'll see them pop up. And again, anytime you have any new students, even if it's just one new student that's joined your Google Classroom roster, you'll want to click import students to update that roster in Edpuzzle. All right. And now I'm going to walk through this on my side of things as well, just because we've slightly changed the way it looks to assign something in Edpuzzle. All the same options are there, but it's just rearranged a little bit differently. So you're going to find the video that you want to assign either from that Discover page or your content. For our purposes, I'm going to go to my content, and the first video that shows up is the one that you most recently were editing. So I was working on this video on Hispanic Heritage Month. So I went to my content, I can see the video, and I'm going to click on it. I can see there's an option to assign. So I'll click Assign. And now I have the option to select which class I want to assign this video to. I can select multiple classes if I like. I only have one right here for Google Classroom, so I'll just do this one. And I'll click Next. And now I'm going to see a few options for setting this up for my students. I can set the start date, that's when it will become available for students, as well as the due date. I can choose to prevent skipping or not. A lot of teachers like to prevent skipping because students love to click through and then just say, I'm done, I did the lesson. So you can toggle that on to prevent skipping. You can also choose how many times students can do the assignment. So if they mess up, do they just have one opportunity, or do you want to give them multiple attempts? You can set this to be unlimited as well. There's also a few accessibility features. You can enable closed captions for a video just by toggling this on. Please know that all of our Edpuzzle original video lessons and all video uploads have closed captions enabled in English. So that is an option. Spanish closed captions are coming soon. We are eagerly awaiting them, and we'll let you know as soon as those are live. But you can allow closed captions by toggling that on. And then the final step, to post this assignment to Google Classroom, just make sure you toggle that part on. And then you'll click Assign. and then the assignment will show up in your Google Classroom, and you'll also be able to see it in your assignments on Edpuzzle. So again, these are the steps that you'll follow. Find your video, click Assign, select your classes, add in any details or settings that you want to customize for the assignment, and then toggle on Post on Google Classroom and click Assign. And this is just a reminder that all the grades that all the data, all the raw data that you get from the assignment automatically syncs to your Google Classroom gradebook. Any really detailed any really detailed Edpuzzle data, you'll have to access through Edpuzzle. And I can show you that in just a couple minutes. But we have about 6 minutes left. And in that time, just want to give you an idea of what data you can anticipate getting from Edpuzzle when your students do complete an assignment. Again, all of your raw data is going to go into your Google Classroom gradebook, so just the basic scores. But in order to see a really detailed breakdown of how students did on these assignments, you'll go to edpuzzle.com. So I'll just walk through this on my account so you can see it a little bit more slowly without the GIF moving through so quickly. I'll check on this class. As you can see, I have some famous singers in this class. They're doing decently well on their assignments. You can see all of your assignments, the previous ones, as well as ones that are currently in progress here. And just click on the assignment name to get a more detailed breakdown of how they performed. So here I've got Taylor Swift, Beyonce, and Harry Styles, and they are doing okay. I can see at a glance that they've all completed this assignment. I can see their grade. I can see how many attempts it took them, when they completed it, or when they watched the assignment, and their status on if they turned it in or not. But if I want to see any information about which questions they struggle with the most, I can click on this questions tab. And this is a great place to go to if I'm trying to figure out where I should reteach. So here I can see that only one student got this first question correct. So I might want to reteach that section. Versus if I'm scrolling down, I can see that 75% of the students got these two questions correct. So I might not need to reteach that one as much, but I might want to pull a small group for that. So I found this questions tab to be really helpful when making teaching instructional decisions. But if I want to see any really detailed statistics about a particular student, maybe they're a student who I have on my radar and I really want to get more in-depth data on them, I can click on their name. So I'll click on Taylor's name. And I can see a lot of statistics here about how Taylor performed. I can see how much time she spent on the assignment, what her score was, how many times she watched each section of the video, where she got questions wrong. And I can also see each of her responses, both from the open-ended questions, and I can see from the multiple choice questions too. And this is where I could go to adjust any of the grades that were given. So that's what the general grading and data aspect of Edpuzzle looks like. Again, the raw data, these scores would be transferred to your Google Classroom gradebook, but all the detailed in-depth student information, the questions, data that we're looking for, this would all be accessible through edpuzzle.com. You also can click on the gradebook to see how students are performing across assignments. And you can export this as well, but you're already going to have this raw data in Google Classroom, so you might not feel the need to look at that as much. And I'll just add one more note because I had a question like this come up yesterday in a training I did. Whenever you have an open-ended question that you need to grade, you're going to see a little red dot show up. So in my classes, there's this little red dot next to my open class. That's going to show me that I have answers I need to grade. So you'll always click on that class and click on the assignment to be able to grade the 6 answers that show up. All right, we're coming to the end of our presentation, so we're not going to be able to go into all the different ways that you can use Edpuzzle in your classroom, but we do have the slide included just to give you some ideas. It'll be in your version of the slide deck as well. Edpuzzle is really helpful for exit tickets, for flipped classroom model. It's also a really great opportunity to differentiate for students and be used as spiral review too. Think of in the mornings, or if you have anything you have to get done and you're trying to give your students something meaningful to work on, Edpuzzle can be really useful for spiral review. You will see this slide in your slide deck. Just wanted to let you know this is something you can preview on your own for any assignment you've already assigned through Edpuzzle. You can turn it into a live synchronous assignment where you project the video on your screen and students answer the questions on their end, kind of like Kahoot, if you've ever used Kahoot. So we have resources for this in our help center that we can send along to you, but this is something that you can feel free to go through and experiment with as your next steps. Live mode is often a very popular choice for teachers.